Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave and X39, a very special company with an amazing technology. We're going to talk a little bit about the company, the technology, a little history, our founder, David Schmidt. And I'm going to pass things over to Gregory in a few minutes, and then we're going to bring on our special guest practitioner. Dr. Thomas Acklind is with us this evening, and then it's your turn. And it's your turn to share stories, to ask questions. Please do that in the Q&A. And I don't know if I remember to introduce myself. I'm Robin Blank-Mascari, co-hosting with my partner, Gregory. And we are here every Tuesday night to welcome you. And if you're brand new, a special warm welcome. You might want to take some notes and have it. And so I guess it's time to turn it over to you, honey.
Well, you can continue right on. I just wanted to pop on screen.
No, I think it's your turn. Go for it.
Right. Okay. So Robin's other half, I'm Gregory Mascari here in Bozeman, Montana, and very excited to share with you this information about this historic breakthrough in affordable stem cell technology. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quickly here and let the show begin. So we're here to talk about activating your stem cells. But before we do, I'm going to give you a personal a realization I came to a while ago. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, and that's younger. And I bet you many of you can relate to that. Getting old ain't such a cool thing, right? At least the symptoms of aging aren't so cool. The wisdom that comes along with it is worth waiting for. But I ask you a personal question. If anything were possible, what's one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health or in the health of someone you love and care for? And if you could make that difference, what would it mean for you or them? You know, we all have loved ones that maybe are dealing with health challenges. Maybe you're dealing with some health challenges, and, you know, we might just have a solution for you. But I do want to make a note, our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose any disease. However, they do help bring our body into a state of healthy homeostasis, energetic alignment. And you know what? When that happens, many things, many wonderful things can start to happen. So let's talk about the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps repair, regenerate damaged cells in all of our organs, glands, bones, muscles, you name it, everywhere. Stem cells are the key to longevity and regeneration. Now, here's the problem. Sadly, the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remains. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And neither of those sound very cool to me. And that's why sometimes, you know, a young lad will fall down, skin his knee, and 3 days later, the scab falls off, and grandma falls down, skins her knee, breaks her hip, and she may never recover. And that's because stem cells have diminished the older we get. Now, what about stem cell injections? They become quite popular, but you know what? They're very expensive. They can be painful, risky, controversial. And you know, you can spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars with no guaranteed results. So we're here to tell you tonight about the good news that you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with our historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free, and it's a patented form of phototherapy, which uses very specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. Now, this is the brainchild of our founder and visionary CEO, David Schmidt, who's also a brilliant scientist and researcher and a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings in the field of health sciences. And David's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. In fact, he's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy products, and many more studies are always in the works. It's a very science-based company. It's a 17-year-old advanced technology company, again, as I said, focusing in the field of health sciences. And it was founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology that David developed under a U.S. government contract for Navy SEALs to come up with a way to increase their strength, stamina, performance without drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. It turned out to be so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. We now have corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland. And I'm happy to tell you we're distributing to over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers. And so the word is getting out, and LifeWave patches are used by pro and amateur athletes. Has been noticed, you might too, if you look carefully at some of your favorite athletes, and you see those auspicious little white patches on their body. Sometimes they wear them under armbands or under watches and such because they don't want to give away their competitive secrets, but these products absolutely work. Now, let's talk about how this amazing technology works. And it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. And LifeWave patches contain a very specific combination of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when applied or near the body, they're activated by our body heat. And then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and this is the basis of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that different frequencies of light can cause very specific changes within the body. For example, when we go out in the sun, a very specific frequency of light causes the body to make vitamin D. We don't get a vitamin D download from the sun. We get a frequency of light download that triggers our body to manufacture vitamin D. Likewise, another frequency of light, ultraviolet, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan.
Excuse me, honey, you're sounding a little spotty. And so if you can speak slower, it would probably be better. Okay.
Okay. I'll slow down. I'm so excited. I speak faster.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. So LifeWave's patented technology is based on this same rock solid scientific principle. And this is one of the prices we pay for living in God's, one of the last based places, we say, in Montana, because we don't have the fastest internet service in the world, okay? But we do have it. So thank God. So here we go. So for the last 14 years, our focus has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And in January, about 3 years ago, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch. And this truly is historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. And some are calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. And that is X39 activates a very specific copper peptide in our body that activates our body's own stem cells, and at the same time alters gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. So X39 certainly is a game changer for the people that use it and for our company. We had explosive growth since the launch of X39. It's a true breakthrough, and David Schmidt, our founder and CEO, says it's my greatest accomplishment or achievement yet, with an emphasis on yet, because David spends more time in the laboratory than he does in the office. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. And yes, we have field results proving that LifeWave X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So I'm sorry about the spotty communication tonight, but I hope you got the message, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Robin, and our special guest doctor tonight.
Thank you, Gregory. Yeah, you do get so excited, and fortunately the slides have the words on them too, so that's helpful. It's a wonderful presentation as always, and it's my pleasure every week to bring on one of our practitioners. We have an extraordinary group of practitioners that are involved in our Live Younger community and in LifeWave as a whole. They're drawn to our company because of the science, and they love the product because it works and it enhances the clinical outcome. So I get to introduce Dr. Thomas Acklind tonight, and he's a special one. He comes from the conventional world of medicine as an MD, but he's a leading edge voice in neuroscience and the gut brain integrity. He's a guy about food as medicine and helps people understand the importance of healing the microbiome. And I love calling him an athlete of mind, body, and spirit. And he's one of my favorite docs out there. Welcome, Dr. Tom.
You're one of my favorite Montanans out there.
How many do you know? 2?
I know all of them. Yeah.
Well, you just came
You
up.
are a special healer, and welcome home. I know you and Gregory were having fun in the Rockies all week, and thank you for doing what you do. Thank you.
Oh,
You are a special one as well.
Well, thank you. It's our joy and pleasure, and we've attracted so many amazing people in this community, and we love hearing from you. And we have lots of new people on, and as a doctor, as a practitioner, what is it that got you interested in really exploring and taking a look at LifeWave?
It was a very good friend who I trust with my life, actually. And if it hadn't been, I probably at the peak of one of my busiest years ever last year, I probably would have delayed. But luckily, Ann Morrow said, you got to take a look at this. And then I saw who she was working with. And I thought, okay, I got to take a look at this. And then I met David. And I started looking at the science. Not only did the patch work wonderfully for me, and I was in decent health, but I noticed I was sleeping more deeply, and I was enduring 18-hour days with less of the, yeah. And we all had a lot of that last year. There's a lot of that still going around. And when I looked at the science, I was just stunned, because I've worked in stem cell technologies before, and I've been, Gregory's phrase was perfect, the holy grail. Yeah. People have been chasing these upregulation technologies since we had biomechanics, understanding of biomechanics. And then I met David and the company, and I saw the ethic of the company, and his passion for, most of his life now, going on 40 years of research, and a company that's coming up on 20 years old, and all of the different breakthroughs they had. And I think it had to do with his tenacity, because X39 only came out 2 years ago, right? I mean, that's what this company will be known for. And thank God I found you and Gregory and Connie and Ann and all the rest of us. We have thousands all over the world. And I think it was the tenacity. I think it was the stick-to-itiveness, and that's what's missing for folks. And you get a guy like that who knows, and he's channeling spirit, and he's on his game. Big things are coming. And I know we're here to talk about X39 tonight, but there are big things coming.
Yes, there are. And we want to stay close to David Schmidt, because he's altered gene expression of 1/3 of the genes. He's going for 100% of age reversal. So I want to stay close, and all the other technologies too. So Dr. Tom, I'd love to hear, a few of your favorite stories that you have seen happen with the use of this technology, because it can happen quickly. It doesn't always happen quickly, but what are some of the things that you specifically think are I think you use the word stunning?
That's one of many. Yeah. Well, since I did I think that's the most important thing right now, and to give people a sense of peace and center, because when you get a diagnosis, it's scary, and we're stuck on a conveyor belt here in the past couple of generations of the diagnosis means you're going to do A, B, C for the rest of your life, right? And it's going to get worse. And that's not true. We have technologies that will reverse the aging process. We have technologies that will reverse the disease process. And for me, it's a connection issue. And we can't use the word disease in accord with these beautiful little things. We can't say that we can cure, heal, or treat. But those are my favorite stories, are the people who had enough mental clarity after using these technologies to talk to their providers in a different way and to say, I know you told me I needed to be on this, for blah, 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 but I really want to be off this time next year. And I think it's a huge conversation right now. I was thinking about it this morning, talking to a buddy about it this morning, how so much of the separation process, so much of the pathology process is a separation from natural forces. That doesn't just mean trees and rocks and air and good water, and that stuff's all important. But in community and in conversation, people thrive, and they don't give in to the lemmings, so to speak. So maybe we can call it an anti-lemming patch, right? And we're not here to tell anybody what your path is, right? But when you have the energy and the mental clarity, and then the physical capacity to actually step your step and walk your walk, then we're dealing with healthy people, and we're dealing with healthy communities and healthy institutions. I think it's important.
That's so beautiful that you said that, because, going through medical school, you get a certain kind of training, and it's not necessarily, health oriented. It may be disease, or, Gregory has some other names for it, but there's so many other options. And if people, when, Gregory got his diagnosis and they gave us, what we were going to be doing for the rest of his life, we said, no, that's not going to happen. And it didn't. Because we knew better, and there are things out there. So I love that you have the background that you have, but you come from this expanded place to help people become, the wise healers that our bodies are naturally, and giving them what they need. So let's talk about X39 for a little bit, because this is the star of the show. The company's been around 17 years. The product came out in January of 2019. It stole the show. It's the vast majority of sales for the entire company. Who should be using it and who shouldn't?
All of those people who are doing that, right? Anybody who's got a look on their face that they don't like, go for it. So this is not a transdermal technology, and this is not a something applied to the body, right? We're not doing anything to the body. It actually accentuates the body's natural instincts and natural urges, energies, and voices. Maybe we could say that the body has been trying to say something to you, yeah? And when you put that vital capacity, that reservoir back in order, then all of a sudden we start hearing and feeling things the way we should. So it's for everybody. There are no side effects. It doesn't interact with anything. It makes your body work better. And so somebody asked last week, have you ever seen anything negative happen? And I said, well, yeah, to tell you the truth, there are a lot of times where people try the patch, and I said what I just said, which is the body's been trying to say something for a long time. So for very fragile people, you definitely want to work together with somebody who's experienced in these technologies, and especially fragile people, post chemo, anybody who's immunocompromised for any reason. And for a good medical reason, right? There are actually reasons where they want to keep certain systems down. And that would be a specific case where you'd want to work with your health provider, of course.
Okay, well, I love that you said it's non-transdermal and that it's safe, and there's no contraindications with any kind of medicine, because nothing's going in your body. And I love how you said, the body is doing the healing. The body's designed to come to homeostasis, and this just helps it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's for everybody. Anybody who wants to feel better, who wants to look better, anybody who's got scars they want to look different in a year. If you want to be sleeping better, if you have a conversation that's a frustrating conversation with a provider, and they are not moving as quickly as you want, this accelerates those things. So it works really great with everything, but especially with let's call them the feel-good technologies. A massage, chiropractic adjustment, an acupuncture treatment, things like this, puts the body back into a place where it's chi rich and mobilization metabolically competent to actually handle the therapeutic.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and I love quoting Dr. Nicholas. He says it enhances the clinical outcome. And people do want fast results, and typically natural medicine takes a little longer, but this one can be quick. So how long can someone expect before they would notice something?
We suggest 90 days. The great thing is the patches work instantaneously. The clinical trials are stunning. You go to lifewave.com, go to science, look at the GHK uptick. And the clinical trials didn't last more than a week. They've done longer trials, but the trials on which the patches were approved were 7-day trials, if I'm not mistaken. Upregulation GHK and I think 8 other amino acids, but GHK is the one that stimulates the stem cells, and other serum markers that went up. So do you feel it right away? Not necessarily. I'd say 50% or more feel it within the first week or two. I've never had anybody take it for 90 days and not feel anything. And I don't think I've ever had anybody use it for 30 days and not feel anything, but and a lot of folks feel it right away. You know,
Great.
especially the better shape you're in, I think the more quickly you feel it, which doesn't mean you're going to, but a sensitive body that's trained in detection and navigating its way through complicated things also navigates its way through very convalescent energies.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So we do recommend people give it 90 days.
Absolutely.
Whatever's going on in your body didn't happen overnight. And the patch, when it gets within 3 inches of your body, is working on something. It may not be what you want, but it's always working. And that's good to know. So what are the optimal conditions for people to get the maximum benefit of using this technology, Dr. Tom?
Get it close to your body. Optimal conditions. Yeah. Well, if we could wave our magic wand, right? A lot of what I do with people and changing their lifestyle, their habits, toxic habits, we could wave our magic wand and get away from toxic water, get away from toxic food, get away from fake, you name it. That takes a while. And anybody who wants to accelerate that process, I've loved seeing that process in my clients and patients be dramatically accelerated with this. So you definitely want to stay hydrated. That's always true. It's interesting that we still say that, right? Definitely stay hydrated. Definitely work with somebody you trust to keep track of the things that are not food that go in your body. I think that's incredibly important. It's hard for people. I tell people, I suggest that they keep a diary of everything that they eat. And I like to say, you don't ever have to show it to anybody, but it's just eye-opening, right? To know what goes in your mouth. That includes food, that includes liquid, that includes supplements, any other vitamins and minerals and whatnot that you take. And I think it's important. And certainly we have that same thing. We have a beautiful tool called the Health Tracker. And it's important to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in different lifestyle, different areas of your life, sleep quality, exercise, like that. Just so you have a starting point, right? And then every week, track and with the person that shared this with you and see where those places are improving and be in communication about what's happening, whether it's good, bad, or nothing.
And how long do you wear the patch?
Each technology is up to 12 hours on, and then at least 12 hours off. So the off component is just as important as the on component. It's where the body gathers some traction and takes ground on what actually happened with the patch on. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and 6 or 7 days a week. You know, I like to suggest to people that they take a day off here and there. Maybe not necessarily in the first month, because it is important to take it 30 days, but the body learns a new pattern, you know, and the more space we can give it, the more it will communicate with us.
Beautiful. So hydration, pay attention to what's going in your body. David Schmidt, our founder, he talks about health all the time. The patches do their work, but we've got to do our work too. And our lifestyle choices can make a huge difference in the effectiveness. Being consistent and 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Love it. So are you ready for some questions and stories, and see if we got any in our chat here or the Q&A?
I would love to hear some stories. Yeah. And by the way, one more bullet point there on what to do.
Yes.
Take a before picture. And especially if parts of your body that you don't like right now, that you want better down the road, take some before pictures, because that's, I got to tell you, as impressive as the clinical trial science was when I looked at the back office, at the science, one of the things I loved looking through this huge global library of testimonies is the before and after pictures. And it's almost unbelievable how things change.
It's true, and it just keeps getting better. When we were at one of our meetings in Colorado, someone talked about how they had numbness in their finger where they had stitches. And when I was 7 years old, I had stitches in the end of my finger, and I never looked at it. Really, I can't even see the scar anymore. And I'm going, that was a new one on me, because I have several other scars that have lightened up tremendously. I have 3 very long ones, and it's extraordinary. So take a picture of your face in good lighting. Take a picture of any scars you have, because they will get remodeled and they will look really, really, really better. It's exciting. So thank you for that reminder. It's something that is really important when someone's brand new to do that. Because and then it is cumulative. It just gets better and better. Okay, so I'm taking questions from the Q&A section if you want to share stories there, and add your questions there. This is where I go from. And remember that we never mention disease states, only symptoms. And thank you for that. If you have a disease state, I won't ask the question, just so you know. Okay, Casey wants to know, do you have any patches that could help someone with a skin rash because of an infestation of small mites that have burrowed into her skin? Oh dear.
Wow. Well, yeah, you definitely want to take care of the problem first. Get the baby out of the dirty bathwater, right? The fibrinogen and the collagen upregulation is incredible, and that's actually one of the reasons the scars heal so well. Is there's an increased rate of the epithelial linings, and epidermis, the skin lining, is one of those. But all of the turnover points, so you can think of the linings of your lungs, the linings of your gut, the linings of your sinuses, the mucous membranes around your eyes, and skin is one of them. We have part of that rash is a detox rash, right? And I can't dive deep into that, of course, but let's just say lots of people get bit by mites and don't have a rash, right? And I'm not saying you should be able to tolerate getting bitten by mites. But there are other metabolic underpinnings, most likely, if it's that severe a reaction. Like I said, first make sure the situation itself doesn't happen. But we do have a technology that is balancing for the liver and other hormones. That's very impressive. And we have, in addition to X39, which is fantastic for epithelial linings and the epidermis, we actually have a patch that is fantastic for the skin, and a cream. So that works as well. The same sort of acceleration that X39 does with the stem cell rejuvenation, we can rejuvenate any tissue in the body.
So
So it's kind of
the name of the skin patch, and where would they put it?
That would be aloe vera, and you can actually put it right on the place that bugs you, so to speak. But you could put it on the back of the neck or right under the belly button. Same 2 places as the X39 suggested placements.
And should they use the cream too?
I love the cream. I really do. I love it. We have a
Me
day
too.
formula and a night formula. And
Great. Great. Okay. Lisa's asking, what do you recommend for someone who's experiencing vision disturbances that come on suddenly? Like it appears like you're looking through a prism or light spots blocking your view. Sometimes there's pain before and after these 10 to 30-minute episodes.
that's a long episode. That should be checked. Please get that checked. Certainly not normal, and any diplopia and especially with pain is something to be looked at. It's interesting. The responsible thing is to make sure that you see a doc, right? And to know what it is. And again, in that place of, I just had to laugh because I don't know even how that came out of my mouth, the anti-lemming patch.
That was a good one. We're going to, someone
I
else said, I'm going to remember that one.
I don't know where it came from. Yeah, Sarah wrote, love that anti-lemming patch. Just remember that in the conversation with the doc, when he does take a look at you, and I think it's a good idea, it's just one opinion, and we do have things that we can do, but we can't make a medical claim towards it. But very likely a circulation issue. And we have things that really dramatically help circulation, which is one reason we have a pain resolution technology that really brings the capillary beds back to a new kind of life, opens up the capillary beds, all of the repair steroids that are there. So whatever the pathology is in the circulation of the eye or the delivery, whatever that is, a neuromuscular control possibly, could be a lot of different things. And that doesn't mean it's a disease, and it doesn't mean it's gotta stick around for very long. Can I talk about IceWave for a minute?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a patch called IceWave. It's a pain resolution technology. It's a 2-patch system. X39 is 1 patch, and most of our technologies are single patch. This pain resolution is called IceWave. I've actually had people put it right at the temples, both for headaches and other issues. Had a lady this morning put it right at the TMJ for other pain and what was neck, cervical tightness and whatnot, and resolved almost immediately. That's actually one of my favorite technologies, because you can literally hold the patches without even putting them on the body. You can hold them in the position and see if in 30 seconds if the discomfort is resolved. It's so impressive. So impressive.
So would you recommend IceWave at this spot for this condition?
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea to
Open
try.
up the capillaries.
Yeah, and very likely, like I said, it's probably it's also probably a vascular tree volume issue. So that's the amount of blood that's in your blood vessels. It's like blowing up a balloon. When you've got enough minerals and your serum is healthy and you've got the right stuff in your blood, then you stay hydrated, right? Body maintains a perfect pressure, maintains a perfect heart rate. It gets the stuff that needs to get to the tissues that need repair,
Great.
So there's something else systemically there, and we have other cool technologies for that too. SP6.
Great. Thank you. And Lisa, please hear what Dr. Tom said about going to see a practitioner. That's really important. Yeah. And Kathleen says, I have a guest on tonight with an 11-year-old son who has a neurological challenge brought on in young children thought to be by some from the vaccines. He has both physical and learning disabilities. Can you offer some kind of protocol?
Yeah, it's interesting times here where the veils are coming off. Yeah. And a lot of the ways that we've artificially suppressed our immune systems over the years. This is not the way we will be doing things down the road, right? In the interim, it is a wonderful salve, let's put it that way, that we have these technologies. One of my favorite things is that I've actually helped people walk away from those sometimes pretty tricky brain active, central nervous system active regimens that they have to be on. And a lot of these conditions post-vax and most docs realistically will say this is an irreversible condition. This is a lifetime condition. And we've seen very impressive results with some things that we're still unfortunately not allowed to say in public. Yeah. But that thing that is the reactivation of the initial toxin is very controllable. So we put the nervous system back in order, we put the immune system back in order, and then those breakthrough pathologies, for example, don't happen.
So which patches?
Well, X39 is the king. X39 is the holy grail. So X39 first. We have a patch called Eon, AEON, Eon, which is marketed for stress and anxiety, and it's outstanding for the entire nervous system. And that's your balance, that's your seesaw, right? The autonomic nervous system is how do you come back to center after a challenge? And we don't want to live a life without a challenge. We want to be able to mobilize our blood, or raise our blood pressure when we're out for a hike or running from the tiger. And the key is not to not have challenges. The key is to come back. So you put a blood pressure medication on board, for example, you've actually taken the body's ability to raise its blood pressure. You've taken that away. That's dangerous. You put a statin on board, for example, you've taken the body's ability to mobilize repair steroids and cholesterol away. That's dangerous. I won't go further on that bandbox, but everybody gets that, I think. Yeah. And so to be able to do this without fear of the challenge, whatever that is, whether it's an immune challenge or such and such. And a lot of these conditions now that are showing up as post-vax sequela are handleable. If the thing shows up, it's the unwelcomed visitor, and just like any unwelcome visitor or any abusive relationship is supposed to be, you're supposed to leave that gracefully. Yeah. And I call it the immune shrug. When the little guy shows up, yeah, it's just the immune shrug. We're all breathing things that we wish we didn't have to breathe, but putting the body in an optimal place where it can handle even bad news, that's the immune shrug. So
X39 and Eon.
X39 and Eon, I would say, yeah. And also energy enhancer is fantastic for the whole body. It's the mitochondria are the power packs, the batteries of the cells, and upregulates not just ATP from the existing mitochondria, but increased numbers of mitochondria per cell, which is kind of like your horsepower.
That's where it all begins.
Mm-hmm.
The energy in the cell. Well, thank you so much. Okay, Glenn, we have time for one or two more here. Glenn says, I have a preferred customer using X39 and energy enhancers for 2 months, and he is having burns and irritation. What do you recommend?
Yeah, fragile tissues, sometimes when they are revascularized, that's not comfortable. So you may want to try the energy enhancer at a different place with a thicker, I don't know where they're placing them, but if you're using them at the traditional lung points, that might be a traumatized and fragile tissue. You can actually put them right at the bottoms of the feet, which is a great place. All these technologies are total body activation. So it doesn't matter exactly where you put the patch. And if it turns out that the discomfort is too much, remember, they don't have to be on the body. A lot of people put them in their pockets or even on the clothing. So if they're, as Robin said, if they're within 3 inches, they're active there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, here's another burn question from Ted. What patching protocol would you recommend for really bad burns?
Yeah, I think I mentioned last time we talked my rope burn, my sailing accident last year. I had been on the patches for a couple of months. And first of all, don't burn yourself, be careful. So Eon is the patch to pay attention, right? In addition to the mental clarity that comes with X39. But Alavita repair cream is a fantastic idea, and aloe vera patch is a fantastic idea as well. And it is a circulation issue as well. So, and it's probably painful. So ice wave is a very good idea. And we have now a sister technology that's not even a year old called X49. And while X39 brings up the body's capacity for the not yet tissues, right? The not yet matured tissues, X49 is a great adjunct for tissues that are already here. Skin, hair, muscles, bones, right? The stuff that looks like it's me. That's probably going to change a little bit more slowly than my serum and my metabolic capacity. So X49 would be a good one too. And you can't go wrong. You know, you just can't go wrong. Every single technology probably has a place, and most people realistically can't wear all of them or like that, but just know that you can. You know, if it depends on how hungry you are and who you're working with, but definitely work with the person who shared these with you, and or somebody that they work with, so that you can get a really good brain trust. That's one of the most fun things about this, I think, is we get to do great masterminds working with people who really care and know and have seen a ton of success, you know, and that's what science is all about, is talking to people who are out there helping people in the field and seeing clinical success.
And we have such a wonderful community that loves to share. It's so wonderful. And for those of you that want to hear great stories, come to Live Younger Chat on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific for a half hour, and you'll get to hear all kinds of stories and ask questions. We have time for one more, and this is from Heidi. And she says, does the aloe vera patch wear get better scar diminishing more than X39?
I can't say that. There's not a better, there's just this is your body. You get to play with it. You get to be the experiment. And just because there are thousands, millions of success stories all over the world, you don't have to stop at their success. So you can do something that nobody's done before. And somebody on this call tonight is going to. I know that. It's just a matter of when and where and how. And by the way, Anne-Marie, thank you, threw in glutathione in the chat. Glutathione, the master repair signal in the body.
Yes.
And we have
great.
A rock star glutathione patch.
Yeah.
Rock star.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So there's, like you said, the patches are all systemic. And this is one of those things where you can trust your instincts and try different things. You can't hurt yourself. And it's so exciting that just moving a patch a little bit can get you even better results. So have fun trying them. And like Dr. Tom said, put them on your clothes if your skin gets irritated. The bottom of the feet on kidney 1 is one of the most amazing places for several of the patches that goes through your body. It's a powerful acupuncture point. So this comes to the end of our time. Thank you, Dr. Tom. Love being with you. Love learning from you always. It's such a treat. And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And for those of you that are guests, we invite you to, get back to the person who invited you here. Get started. There's no risk to start. The patches do come with a 30-day risk-free guarantee, different than a stem cell injection that I was about to do until someone said, there's a new technology that activates your own younger stem cells with light. And I went, how fast can I get it? And it saved us $12,400 for one injection with no guarantee. We have a guarantee. We have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, a very generous compensation program. And for those of you that we didn't get to your questions, I looked at, there's a whole bunch that came in after 7:25. So please put them in early if you want us to get to them in the Q&A section, and we'll get to as many as we can. And we stayed over a little bit. And thank you, Dr. Tom, as always, for sticking around a little extra. Much love to you and gratitude. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.